Okay. Welcome to another episode of my video series on some aspects of self improvement that I have learned over the past 5.5 years. In the last episode, I was talking about finding one's tribe, and one of the viewers sent me a message saying, you know what, Oscar, you need to discuss how to find your tribe. And in order to do this, I drew up a bit of an image. Here is you or me back then screaming, Marco, Marco, Marco. And the tribe says, Polo, Polo. And the tribe is always looking for you. So long as you look for the tribe is equally looking for you. And why do I say this? If I can make a comparison to biology, the organism wants to grow, to expand, to multiply. The same is true of a tribe. A tribe becomes a village, then a town, then a city, then a state, then an empire. The tribe is always seeking you out. And I'm going to explain the extent to which this goes. From my point of view, the tribe seeking one out is almost divine. In stages, it seems as though it is divine intervention. And I'm going to tell you a story about my life back in 2021. In December of 2020, I had reached the apex of my drinking career. I was at that place whereby alcoholics or fledgling alcoholics can only ever dream of. I was functional. As far as people around me were concerned, alcohol never really affected my life. Rather, it never affected my career, my job. But then here's the tricky part. I had a job. I didn't have a career. Alcohol didn't affect my job. As long as I showed up, everything was fine. Alcohol by this point was, as I said earlier, a phrase we use endlessly in AA, was a rapacious creditor. I needed alcohol to feel normal around other people. And so long as I was drunk enough, I was social enough. In fact, I was a social butterfly. In December of 2020, I had reached a level whereby alcohol was no longer making me happy. It was making me angry. I could no longer just interact with people. I needed a fight, a cause to fight. And in December, I found my reason. And the downfall was so extreme such that I decided that I have to stop drinking. I needed a way out. But I had tried quitting on my own several times in the past, and for whatever reason, it never worked. Maybe the longest duration I might have gone without alcohol was a month, but all it took was meeting a drinking buddy, or having a bad day, or having a really good day, for me to go right back to drinking. But in December of 2020, I decided, you know what? Now I really need to find a way out, or this is going to be a very big problem in the near future. At the time, I was living in southern Japan, a place called Kyushu, for those of you who might not know. Now, southern Japan is deep in the country. In late December of the same year, I moved to Osaka. When I came to Osaka, I had the vision, the idea that, you know what, from now on, I'm not going to drink alcohol. But by that point in time, it was just a plan. I didn't really know how I'm going to do it. I knew nothing about AA other than the things I had seen in movies and TV shows. I didn't even know AA existed in Japan. Now, this is the fortuitous spin. Prior to my arrival in Japan, I contacted a friend who I was a part of a Nike run club with. So my friend and I used to share our running speeds on the Nike running up, and he lived in Osaka. So when I moved to Osaka, we planned a race. Me, him, and a bunch of other guys, and we were going to do a 5K race. That was the plan. What he didn't tell me is that one of the men in the group was an old mutual friend that I hadn't seen or even thought about in years. And when I knew this friend, he was a successful restaurateur. He owned a very famous chicken wing restaurant in Osaka City. When I initially met him, I knew him as the wealthy, successful guy. What I didn't know is that during that time, during our initial encounter, he was dealing with alcoholism. Now, when I met him for this run, rather after the run, he did not join us for the run. He was just watching and waiting for us. After the run, the guy who organized the run opened his bag and pulled out a couple of beers and said, "Oh, otsukare-sama desu," like with Japanese for thank you for your hard work. Here's a beer, right? And so he handed me one beer, and even though I knew my plan was to stop drinking, I took the can of beer, right? He gave a can of beer to our mutual friend, and the guy said, no, I've been sober for 2 months. And as I'm clutching onto my beer thinking, am I or am I not going to drink this? I hear this guy talking about being sober for 2 months, and I ask him, hey, what do you mean you've been sober for 2 months? What does that mean? And he says, "Oh, Oscar, I recently started going for AA meetings." Wait, what? But you're a foreigner? I know you don't really speak Japanese. What do you mean you've been going for AA meetings? Oh, he said, yeah, no, don't worry about it. Like, there are AA meetings in English in Osaka. And so I reveal, I say, Marco, hey, I'm trying to quit alcohol. Do you mind if I tag along for a meeting? And my buddy here screams, Polo, we have a meeting every Saturday. You know what? Here's my line, here's my contact. Why don't you join me for the next meeting? How? Now, when people join AA for the first time, when you go to your first meeting, at least in my group, we have a step 1 meeting. And the step 1 meeting is basically reading through step 1 of the AA steps. And once we read through the steps, we discuss how and why people join AA. People give their own individual stories about this. And I tend to speak about this day that I wanted to stop drinking. I didn't know how to stop. I didn't even know if I could actually stop. But when I knew that this actually needs to be done, the tribe presented itself. Now you can say, Oscar, this was just, a lucky series of events. I don't think it is a lucky series of events. I think it is by design. That every time you actively seek out something, it seems as though the people who can help you accomplish it turn up. It is by design. But let's acknowledge this. In order to hear people screaming Polo, you have to scream Marco. In my case, I had to say, I'm trying to quit alcohol. For someone to say, hey, there's an AA meeting nearby. And what is divine, as far as I'm concerned, is that, I realized if the meeting was an hour away from where I lived, I might have gone once and maybe never gone again. It's too much of a hustle to go get on a train, go one up. It's a hustle, right? But the extremely fortuitous part is that the meeting was a 15-minute walk away from my apartment. Not only did they scream Polo, they said we are right next door. And this has happened not only with alcohol. Even when I decided, you know what, I'm going to start a business, the people who could help me start a business, they just popped out of the woodwork. It's like they were always there, just waiting for me to say what I wanted. So if someone says, hey, Oscar, I want to do this thing, but I can't find my people, I can't find my tribe, I will say, you know what? I think you just haven't spoke about what you're trying to do with other people. Because once you vocalize your desires, God, the universe, whatever you want to call the higher power, will present you with the people. Or rather, will bring the people to you. Your tribe is waiting. Your tribe is waiting to help you. And with that, I want to say thank you for taking your time, and I hope you've gained something of value in this video. Goodbye.